cultivation, evolution, layers. The more embroiled, when to eat meat, when to be a vegetarian in regards to cultivation and how to get to the next stage of evolution, if we want that. If we want that, yes. If we want that. And this is also in the universe. Oh, it's also galactic, you could say. And it involves superpowers. It involves superpower. Evolution. What is that? What is evolution? That's the thing. We need some definition. What does it mean? Different people, different idea. What is evolution? Where do you want to evolve towards? Is the direction? Yes, evolution. Yeah, what direction do you want to head in? What kind? It means what kind of evolution? How do you want to evolve? Yeah, that's very important. For some, evolution, it might mean that in 50 years from now, we then have spaceships and we can live on Mars, and we have some technological evolution. For other people, maybe they think, we maybe because we wear clothes and we live inside and now we use electricity, so we will our skin will become thinner, or we will become weaker because we don't expose ourselves to the harsh weather outside so much anymore. And then we become weaker. We evolve to not necessarily become weaker. A certain part of us would is not being used, so it will lose its function, whereas another part of the body and other aspects are being used more, so they will develop more function. So there's always a trade-off. There's always a trade-off between something. As you're evolving, you may lose something, but you will gain something else in return, and on many different levels, in many different systems of the body, in the muscular system, in the skeletal system, in the respiratory system, in the lymphatic system, in the energy system. Different changes will start to happen depending on how you develop, what you are developing towards, what you are trying to evolve. So one aspect of that I think we can all agree on, that we could define a very well evolved society of extraterrestrials living on some other planet somewhere else. We would the positive things we would like to think of, that we would like to see. We would like to believe that very evolved extraterrestrials are benevolent, are very, very civilized. benevolent might not necessarily be the word, but let's just say more civilized. We would if a normal human being, if you or I, would imagine another civilization somewhere else that is better than here, more positive than here, then what would we imagine? I think we would imagine a peaceful society where people are able to negotiate problems. They're able to solve problems by talking. They're able to share ideas, and try different things, and they have some free society that people can all sort of be themselves, and not too many problems, not too many problems, and they can exist for millions of years with no war, no big wars, no big conflicts. They can exist in peace for millions of years, and they're always relatively happy, things are fine. Maybe there's a few little problems here and there, but they have a system to solve problems. I think that's what we would like to think of if we imagine some other extraterrestrial, advanced, civilized, peoples that are evolved, say, a few million years ahead of us. What kind of way? And I guess so. One of the things that we might like to associate that with would be vegetarianism. So I went through a long display to get to that. That's what I'm talking about here. Even vegan maybe. And so yeah, the purpose is not necessarily to I would say it's a different take on veganism than what is tradition. Let's say there could be about three. Let's try and define the three most popular perspectives of veganism, and why one, the three different personalities. Let's just take all the vegans in the world and categorize them into three categories of personality, three different personalities, three different perspectives of vegans, why they're vegans, what's good about it. Probably one of them is going to be sort of ethical vegans, and I guess the ethical vegans could have two subcategory. There could be two subcategories, but ethical vegans would be the vegans who are decided to become vegan because they believe that this is the way for humans to evolve to the next level. Because let's just look at our whole universe and our whole universe, including the world we understand. And so we generally think that we need to consume other life in order to survive, and that's the pattern that we see in the universe, is that the intelligent life forms generally, or it appears that at least you could make a case that scientifically you could make the case that the intelligent life forms the most intelligent life forms, they all, meat eaters, or and intelligent life forms are usually predators. Should be the word. Or there's a certain type of, if we look in nature, it appears that there is a certain type of intelligence that the meat-eating animals have. There's a certain difference in the brain between a predator and a prey. Let's say a normal vegetarian animal, a herbivore. The predator has a certain type of brain, and the herbivore has a certain type of very different brain chemistry there. Try not to take forever. So yeah, there's just a certain kind of intelligence in the universe that are certain groups in our universe of people who are likely to resonate on that level. They have, been their species. Their species has, they've been regular meat eaters for some time, or they evolved that way. They got to the next stage in evolution by eating meat. Or that, they could have done it other ways, but anyway, they got to the next stage of evolution by eating meat. And then they kind of looked back at it and just thought, at some point they started looking back at, or stepping back from how their situation was, and they said, wouldn't it be better if we could evolve to not kill animals because, let's say not animals, other life forms, not kill other life forms because that's the way that we would like to be treated ourselves, or we would hope that if there are predators that are preying on us, because we might not be the highest thing on the food chain, what if human beings are not the top of the food chain? What if human beings, what if we are not on the top of the food chain? What if we actually have some other reptilian or Draco or some other aliens out there that fly down in their spaceships and to collect humans and eat them, or I don't know, do whatever to us, who knows. Then we couldn't exactly say that we were innocent, could we? Because we are also doing that to animals that are less that cannot defend themselves against us. If those animals had a way of defending themselves against us, should we blame them for defending themselves from us? So there's this very there would be clearly this kind of ethical, philosophical debate that's always going on in our universe between different aliens, between different species. We have that kind of, we could say, dynamic, that kind of ethical, philosophical dynamic going on between us. Very serious, and something that's not, maybe shouldn't just be glanced over. Maybe it is necessary to really take a look at this dynamic and sort of ask ourselves, like, how much meat, how long do we want to keep consuming meat? Because if we are consuming meat and cultivating, the cultivation is limited in a certain way, because we are more attached to the karma, you can say the karma cycle. We're not necessarily talking about just something spiritual, or we're talking about the cause and effect, just like the Daoist concept of that, of cause and effect, of causal mechanics, causation chains. How one thing that has come to be has gone through many different stages until it usually gets to one quite fundamental root cause. And if one of those events anywhere in it is tweaked slightly a little bit, it can change the whole causation stream. So something you would think about, that you would definitely need to know if you were a time traveler. If you worked as a time travel person, you have a machine that you could time travel, then definitely you would have to know you would have to have a very, very good understanding of the causal mechanics. So it's just like asking the question, do we want to consider to evolve onto take a different route of evolution, which will mean that we are not bound to this certain cycle of causation chains. There's a certain cycle of causation chains on the world that are very, very tightly bound together, because they're very yin. They're very yin, and that's why meat is the most yin thing that you can eat. So because it is so yin, so heavy, so bound to the earth, when you eat it, you become part of that causation chain. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, or it could be a bad thing. It depends where you want to vibrate on, and about whether or not you want to stay in that causation chain, or you want to find a way to detach from that to get to another causation chain. Does that mean that you get superpowers when you make that switch? I don't know. Maybe it could mean that. So that's what I'm thinking, But there's always the question of when to eat meat, when to become vegan, and when to make that switch. And I tried to do it once, and I ended up back on eating meat again. But when I did go back, I was like, wow, I'm not gonna make it so that I've been a vegan for the last 8 years just for nothing. No, it's like that was my first attempt at it, but I just, in the end, because I had been traveling around so much, and quite stressed, and not really I was not grounded enough to, okay, I'm vegan now. Now let's have a look. What kind of fruits and vegetables, and where am I going to get my protein? okay, I'm going to mix all these things. This is going to be a staple thing. I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to plan it week by week. You know, no, I wasn't in that. I wasn't grounded enough to think about that. And I was like, oh man, okay, I'm going vegan. Okay, I know this is exactly the thing I want to do because I want to get out of this causation chain. I want to rise to the next level of resonance and, you know, and the next level, and hopefully get some vegan superpowers and all of that. But you know, I went too fast, and well, I wasn't grounded enough. I think the traveling, because I went traveling, that was and you know, because of the stuff that happened while I was traveling, you know, it took a toll on me, and I became ungrounded again. So I'm going through a phase now where I'm trying to get more, you know, I need some more yin to get myself more grounded. Yeah, more still rigid in the part of the Earth's causation, karmic, very yin causal chain. But that's, at least it's grounded me again. And now hopefully I can give it a shot again to go on to the next evolution and through being vegan. But this time, you know, I'm really going to have to, okay. Yeah, so what am I going to have this week? Plan it out 1 week at a time. Eat the same each week. Let's do it that way first. I'll eat the same each week. I'll plan everything out every weekend. I'll decide, okay, what am I going to eat for the next week, and just focus on buying exactly those same things every day for a week. So I don't have to think about it. And then, so that means I only have to think about what to eat every week. I'm only ever going to have to think about what to eat every 7 days, rather than every single day, okay, what am I going to eat? No, only 1 day every week. Brian Johnson has the same every day and doesn't ever change. So he's totally eliminated that mental energy to have to think about, you know, I think that's his modus operandi, and that's a very powerful way when you slowly, bit by bit, create a set cycle and then leave it, and then find another one, set it, leave it, another one, set it, leave it, set it, leave it, set it, leave it, until you're completely focused on yourself, and then, you know, you start to, yeah, cultivate. Then you can actually do some real, you know, alchemical kind of work, you know. So that's that. Yeah, I think I covered everything. The levels. Yeah, more on that later. More on the levels later.